ça va se dégager dans 5-10 minutes, je pense. Enfin, mais là, c'était très mauvais. Virage 5 à Bourg, c'était dangereux. Moi, j'ai vu tout de suite, on regarde.
Ouais. T'arrives à voir quand même les points. Ah, parce qu'il y a la question de savoir si on fait pas du lever parce que tu voyais pas.
Good morning and welcome to the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps for race one of this weekend. As we can see, not perfect conditions for racing this weekend. Some fog hitting the circuit as we are speaking. The cars just coming round in their first lap to form onto the grid. And we've just heard some of the drivers saying the fog is still a little bit bad round turns 5 and Pouhon. So we'll be hoping to get a start in the next 5 minutes. But the race direction will let us know what's going to happen there. The legendary Spa-Francorchamps has, of course, over the years become a must-stop on the calendar. For meeting 9 of the season, the battles will be more intense than ever on this most challenging track of the year, as the battle for the title could well be decided this weekend. It's going to be a spectacular show on a circuit where slipstreaming will be also an important factor. The man, here we have him on the screen at the moment, Sacha Fenestraz. He's been certainly the man of the weekend. Came up big in the title chase, taking 3 pole positions on offer for the weekend. It's the first time in the series that someone has taken 3 pole positions. The Frenchman yesterday got the better of his closest rivals, Robert Schwartzman and Gabriel Aubry, to become the first driver, as we said, to take 3 poles in the same meeting. Today, he's going to try to become the first pole winner to win at Spa since Arthur Pic did it on May the 1st, 2010. Because one of the other factors here at Spa is the fact that if you're on pole position, it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to get a win. There's Schwartzman on the screen. Robert Schwartzman, very keen also to get around his main rival, Fenestraz, and Schwartzman said he's basically got nothing to lose in the championship fight. He is currently on, let's have a look, 3rd place with 208 points. Quite a way behind Fenestraz. Fenestraz currently on 260 points on the championship, with Will Palmer in 2nd on 233. Palmer putting in not such a great performance in the practice, in time practice. He's on 8th position or 9th position on the grid today for today's start. So not a really good weekend so far for Will Palmer. 2 qualifying sessions yesterday. The second qualifying, well, 3 races this weekend. The second best lap time from qualifying 1 will decide this afternoon's positions for this afternoon's race. This morning, Sacha Fenestraz, as we said, lines up on pole ahead of Robert Schwartzman. Yifei, Max Deforny from RSGP, and Renault Sport Academy member Max Fertrell from Tech 1 Racing. Among the other title contenders, Gabriel Aubry will start 6th, and Will Palmer 9th, Daniel Tichtum on 18th position. So I've just seen that we have a slightly late start. It's going to be pushed back 5 minutes according to the race direction. So 5 minutes late start for this race. As we said, race 2 this afternoon will also be led by Sacha Fenestraz, with Gabriel Aubry at his side this afternoon on row 1. Yifei, Robert Schwartzman, Max Fertrell and Max Deforny will complete the next 2 rows. Will Palmer will also start 9th. Palmer really not doing so well this weekend, and Daniel Tichtum on 18th position. On Sunday, as I was just saying, it's going to be a good start again, a perfect start for Sacha Fenestraz. Alongside him tomorrow, Schwartzman again, Gabriel Aubry, Will Palmer and Max Deforny. Fenestraz, after yesterday's qualifying, said that he saw that only 27% of pole winners have gone to win since 2000, and this year he might have a small advantage because they're starting from the pit straight this year, and the goal will definitely be to aim for a podium. He's going for the points, Sacha, and with 6 races left to run, there's still quite a lot of points in the season left, so that means that still a number of drivers could win from Fenestraz, Palmer, Schwartzman. Could Deforny get in there maybe as well? It depends on a lot of factors. In sixth position, the first rookie on the championship table, Max Fertrell on 127 points. Yesterday, Aubrey, after the practice, said he got off to a good start. He was confident straight away. On the screen, Max Deforny from RSGP in car number 4. He's in fourth position on the grid. Deforny in car number 9. As the mist and fog around the track clearing slightly, 2 more race weekends to go this weekend, and of course the final weekend of the season in Barcelona on the 27th of October, when basically the championship will be decided probably then, because unless Fenestraz gets all the wins today and Palmer and Schwartzman do really badly, then the race, the final championship could come down to that final race. However, the championship for the teams could well be decided this weekend, with RSGP currently on 548 points. Joseph Kaufman Racing on 352. Quite a big difference there, but if Joseph Kaufman continue to do well as they are with Fenestraz, that could well put a cat among the pigeons for RSGP. Been told that the start will be taking place behind the safety car. Probably a very wise decision from the race direction, given the conditions out there today. Yifei from Joseph Kaufman Racing in third position. As we see on the screen, Max Fertrell. Fertrell in car number 7 in 5th position. One of the rookies. Seen from this angle, of course, we can see that the fog is still hanging over the Spa-Francorchamps track, a track which is very, very tricky at the best of times, with weather being very different from one part of the track to another on most occasions. Sometimes getting sunshine on parts of the track while we have rain on others. Today, a fog on some parts of the track while other parts are relatively clear. We will see what happens. The weather forecast for today is about 15 degrees. They say 15 degrees and cloudy. Currently a lot less than that, of course, with the fog out there hanging over the track. Some of the Red Bull Junior cars, of course, the Red Bull Junior team with 3 drivers out there on the track. Car 29, Richard Verschoor, Neil Verhagen, and Daniel Tichtem in car 33, all from the Red Bull Junior teams. Renault Sport Academy also with 3 cars out on the track. Cars 30, that's Jarno Opmeer and Fertrell, of course, in car number 7, and Sanyu Yang in car number 21. They're the Renault Sport Academy cars, ones to watch out there as well. Gabriel Aubrey, Tech 1 Racing, currently in 6th on the grid. Aubrey's always one to watch as well for the great attacking that he gets up to at sometimes on the track. He's a good driver, French driver. Going quickly down through the grid on first position, as we said, Sasha Fenestraz. Alongside him on the first row, Robert Schwartzman in car number 10. On the second row on the grid, we have Yifei in car number 1. Alongside him, Max Deforny in the car number 9 from RSGP. As they're starting to clear the grid. Third line on the grid, we have Max Fertrell from Tech 1 Racing. Alongside him, Gabriel Aubrey in car number 4. On the screen, Verschoor. Richard Verschoor on the 4th line of the grid in car number 29. Alongside him, Neil Verhagen in car number 31. Just behind them, Will Palmer, the former championship leader in car number 8 on the 5th line on the grid. Alongside him, Thomas Randall, the Australian driver. On the 6th line on the grid, Jarno Opmeer from MP Motorsport in car number 30. And alongside him in car 13, it's Enrique Chavez from AVF by Adrian Valles. On the 7th row of the grid, we have Thomas Maxwell in the Tech 1 racing car number 5. And alongside him, Gilles Magnus in car number 44. Alex Peroni, the Australian driver in car number 17, is on 8th row of the grid in the Fortec Motorsport car. And alongside him in car number 12, Raul Guzman, the other Mexican driver from RAce GP, car number 12 on the 8th row of the grid. 9th row, we have Alex Mattis from AVF by Adrian Valles in car number 15. Alongside him, Daniel Tichtum in car number 33. The screen back up with the championship leader, Sasha Fenestraz, and in car number 11, very hopeful for some good performances this weekend. Also being quite clear about the fact that he knows that he might not well get the win each time, because the pole sitters don't always get the win here, as we were saying before. Looking at some of the statistics, the lowest starting position for a winner at this track was actually 9th position for the Renault series. So only 27% of the winners started from pole. Interesting facts that he should probably keep in mind as he gets off to a start. Lights flashing, the track being cleared for the formation lap. The engine's starting to roar, and the lights have changed to green. First formation lap behind the safety car, as the drivers will get to again see the conditions at certain parts of the track as we go back down through the grid positions. On the 9th row of the grid, we've got Daniel Tichtum, as we mentioned, in car number 33. Alongside him, Alex Mattis. On the 10th row of the grid, Alexei Kornev from Fortec Motorsports in car number 18. Alongside him, Mark Burdett Motorsport driver Presley Martineau from Indonesia in car number 26. On the 11th row of the grid, Xavier Loveras in car number 14. Alongside him, Alexander Vartanyan in car number 23. Charles Malaysia in car number 40 is in 12th row of the grid. Alongside him, Zane Goddard from Australia in the Arden racing car number 93. In car 6, Thomas Neubauer from Tech 1 Racing is on 13th row of the grid, with alongside him Jean-Baptiste Simonauer in JD Motorsport Racing car number 22. 14th row on the grid, we've got Michael Benyar from Tech 1 Racing, car number 6. Alongside him, Theo Kyoiko, one of the wildcard drivers for the final part of the season in car number 41 from RAce GP. On 15th row of the grid, Lewis Leeds from Joseph Kaufman Racing, car number 2. Alongside him, BM Racing Team driver, car number 96, Bartholomew Mirecki. Second last line on the grid, the row number 16, is Julia Pankovic in car number 25. Alongside her, the Fortec Motorsports car number 19 driver Frank Bird. And finally, on the 17th row of the grid, Naji Razak from Malaysia in car number 20 from Fortec Motorsport. And alongside Naji, we have Su Sanyu Yang, the Chinese driver, in car number 21 from JD Motorsport. Completing the field with, as we said, Sasha Fenestraz leading the pack in car number 11, the green and black car from Joseph Kaufman Racing. Conditions really not perfect for the start of this race, as the cars loop down through Stavelot and back along Blanchimont, as they prepare to go for a start behind the safety car. Sasha Fenestraz, as we said, putting in 3 absolutely perfect performances for qualifying. 3 times the pole sitter for this weekend. Wins so far this year in Monaco, the Nürburgring, Red Bull Ring, Le Castellet in France last month. And will he win the races here this weekend? It's not a foregone conclusion. Car's now looping around La Source, preparing to take the official start of this first race of the weekend. Warming up the tyres, the safety car coming down through and towards Rédillon, the Eau Rouge. And they're off for a start of this first race of the weekend. Behind the safety car. Conditions not really optimal, as we can see on our screens at the moment. The fog hanging over the track here in Spa-Francorchamps. The safety car with the lights on, leading the field now all the way down through the Kemmel Straight as they head towards Les Combes. With a veritable pea soup out there, hoping that the conditions will change over the next 10 minutes or so. We heard a couple of the drivers talking down on the starting grid saying, yes, we've been told it's going to clear in the next 5 minutes. And it must be clearing a little bit, but on our screens it doesn't look like it's clearing that much. So we're hoping that they can clear it enough for the safety car to come off and for them to have some proper racing out there in this first race of this weekend. With 6 races left for the season, anything can happen. And if the safety car stays out for any length of time, of course, that's going to be a great advantage for the leader of the championship at this point, because as we were saying, the difficult point getting off from the starting grid as they were before was that the starter on pole position didn't necessarily have an advantage. Now, Sacha Fenestras, when the safety car comes off, will be in the lead. Will Palmer is going to be attacking from just further back, as we said, 9th position Palmer. He's going to be doing everything he can to work his way back up through the pack and try and get back up with the leaders. But Robert Schwartzman said he's going to be basically doing anything he can to get up with the lead. So he was saying, after my horrible weekend at Circuit Paul Ricard, said Schwartzman, the race for the title has become more difficult and now I have nearly nothing to lose. So as we said, he's out there, 2nd position, nothing to lose. In starting second twice, I have a good shot to win. I will be aggressive and will take my chance, says Robert. With 3 races on the program, I have time to analyze and choose the best places to overtake. Yesterday, their Q1 was a little bit disappointing, but he believes their race pace will once again be better than that of Joseph Kaufman Racing. We'll have to see how it goes at turn 1 and see who survives. Well, that's not going to happen, Robert, because there's not going to be a race for turn 1 with the safety car out there. Robert Schwartzman in 2nd position in car number 10. Champing at the bit behind Sacha Fenestras, hoping that when the safety car comes off, that they might just get a chance as they come back through for a 2nd time down towards Eau Rouge, keeping their tyres warm, hoping for a start at any point. Beautiful shot of the cars coming down through that most famous part of this circuit. Of course, a circuit that really demonstrates the importance of driver skill more than any other circuit in the world. This is due to that section they've just gone through, the Eau Rouge, and also the Blanchiment corners. They both need to be taken flat out to achieve a fast run into the straights after them. And that really aids the driver on the fast lap and in overtaking. Most famous part of the circuit, Eau Rouge, Rédillon. Once you've gone through the La Source hairpin, drivers race down the straight to the point where the track crosses the Eau Rouge. That's a stream which is called Eau Rouge because it's red water, of course. They cross that stream for the first time before they get launched steeply into that uphill section, which is actually a lot steeper than it looks, and into that sweeping left, right, left collection of corners with a blind summit. I think the first one who did it flat out was probably Schumacher, as far as I can remember. Properly speaking, the Eau Rouge corner is only the left-hander at the bottom, the following right-hander that leads uphill, which was introduced in 1939 to shortcut the original hairpin, which was called the Ancienne Douane. That's what's called the Rayon, so that's the uphill part. And that's where you really need the skill from the driver to get through there into that long straight, that massive long straight along the top of the hill, then going into Les Combes corner, which, by the way, before was a lot tighter and narrower than what it was before. That was widened in 1970, and the circuit was updated. A lot of things have happened to this circuit over the years. As we said, probably the most famous and the most difficult racing circuit in the world. Definitely the region around here is one of those regions where every time we come here for car races, we go, wow, isn't this a fantastic place for a race circuit? Just like the Nürburgring as well, but a little bit different. Talking about that corner, Fernando Alonso once said, coming into that downhill corner, you suddenly have that change of direction at the bottom and then go that steep uphill. And from the cockpit, you can't see the exit as you come over the crest, so you don't know where you're going to land. Car's running quite slowly now, going through the section into La Source, hairpin, through the upper grid, onto the Source. Now we're going to see them coming back down through that section into the Eau Rouge and the Rayon. Sadly, at a slower pace that we'd like to be seeing them going. It's a little bit of sun coming out on the track as we're looking at the track right now. It looks like it's clearing definitely around this section of the track. As we said, different parts of this circuit can be very, very tricky because you'll have sunshine on one part and then fog or rain on another. And that looks like what we have at the moment as they're coming down through that very famous section of the track and along the Kemmel Straight and into Les Combes. Now into thick fog along that upper section of the track. And it looks like at this point, with 14 minutes left to run, we're still going to have to wait a few more minutes before that section of the track becomes negotiable for anybody. Extremely dangerous to let the cars go at this point, so they're following around behind the safety car. Must be extremely frustrating for the drivers as they loop around there now and coming back in towards Pouhon. Corners 11 and 12 on the circuit. Talking about the Eau Rouge. Touring cars, they take that corner at about 160 to 180 kilometers per hour. Formula One cars at over 300 kilometers per hour. And I'm not too sure exactly how fast these ones go through there, but they will be going through very, very quickly indeed. 7 kilometers long. It's a long circuit, this one. Just 12 laps per race, making for 83.239 kilometers of race distance. This lap that's being put in was a lap of 2:16.645 in 2015 by Barnico. And the record lap was one of 2:18. As we just heard, the race direction has put out a red flag. The cars are going to be brought in with 13 minutes officially left to run. We have a red flag from race control. The starting procedure will be renewed, apparently. Will not be resumed. We have a sign on our screen saying session will not be resumed. We have a red flag. Very sad for the drivers who'd really wanted to get out there and give it the gun this morning. Unfortunately, along those upper sections of the track, it looked like it just wasn't going to clear, and spinning around for the next 15 minutes behind the safety car definitely wasn't going to make the fog go away either. What a sorry start to the weekend as the cars come back in behind the safety car here at the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Normally one of the most difficult tracks on the circuit, and for these guys this morning it was just extremely frustrating. Heading around, heading out there, hoping for a start, heading around behind the safety car. Now sadly coming back into the paddock with the red flag out, and the session will not be resumed. Sacha Fenestraz, starting from pole position, will go down as having, of course, taken this one, but I'm not sure how the points will work for that. Schwartzman in second position, Yifei in third, Max Deforny in fourth position, keeping the positions from the starting grid. Going back over those top positions, it was Sacha Fenestraz, Robert Schwartzman, Yifei, Max Deforny, Max Furtrell, and Gabriel Aubry, followed by Richard Verschoor, Neil Verhagen, Will Palmer, and Thomas Randall from Australia. Cars limping back into the pit lane now after a good 12 minutes out on the track, circling round, hoping for a start, and they just didn't get by. Cars coming into the pit lane, where the drivers are being informed that the race is off for the morning. Recchi in his car, a beautiful image looking back down of the Eau Rouge and the Rédion, looking towards the start-finish straight and the pits. Breathtakingly steep part of the circuit as you come up it either on foot or in a car. On TV it's always difficult to get the real aspect of that part of the track. Looks like, however, today we will be getting clearing conditions for the races following this. Our next race this afternoon will be officially race 2 of the weekend, coming on mid-afternoon, and then again another race tomorrow morning to complete the weekend's racing here at Spa-Francorchamps on what looks like it's going to be a nice weekend, but sadly with a lot of fog this morning. It was forecast fog this morning, so we are going to be hoping that this afternoon conditions will be good. Race 2 will be taking place at 3 p.m. this afternoon here at the circuit of Spa-Francorchamps. Tomorrow's race 10:30 at Spa-Francorchamps through until 11 o'clock.
They did is so they get started on schedule, because obviously these people are on schedule.
Drivers being told that yes, we're going to have to call the race off because the next events here at the circuit will have to take place on time. So we've been told that half points will be distributed for the final positions in this race. So finally cars coming in, we will be having a podium, and the final positions will be Fenestraz, Schwartzman and Yifei. Yifei, the rookie, on third position in car number 1, and hopefully we'll be able to have a chat also with Sacha Fenestraz, the official winner of this race. Not a very honorable win, sadly, for Sacha, as they're coming in after following the safety car around, but we've seen similar incidents at other tracks during the season in other series as well. So we hope to be hearing in just a couple of moments' time from Sacha Fenestraz, if we have a camera down in the pit lane, and he will be heading for the podium at any moment now. The driver's being told exactly what the situation is. Yes, guys, you're not going to be heading back out, and we will be having a podium with Sacha Fenestraz, Schwartzman and Yifei in the top 3 positions. So Fenestraz taking another win in the series, but half points because of the race taking place behind the safety car and finishing behind the safety car halfway through the race. What a shame for the drivers not to have that chance to go on the attack, especially for Robert Schwartzman, who was really keen to get back up there. Conditions very slowly clearing down over the track, looking down across the Eau Rouge and into the pit lane area and the paddock. 2 paddocks, the lower one and of course the upper one that we can see on the top part of the screen, where the conditions are quite pleasant at the moment. The sunshine coming out, but looping back up through the upper parts of the track, it's just not negotiable. And we hope for the other series that will be heading out there today, some of the other different types of cars that will be heading out, of course the endurance cars as well, that they'll get a chance to do some good practice and qualifying today as well. Eurocup Formula Renault 2.0. Definitely a hotbed for spotting new talent, and one of the top ones for this year has definitely been Sasha Fenestras, who made himself known towards the end of last season and is now this season really coming out in the second part of the season and showing what he's worth. Fenestras winning in Monaco, Nürburgring, Red Bull Ring, at Le Castellet as well. He was heading, just coming into this race, by 27 points from Will Palmer. That gap will be dug a little bit further now, with Robert Schwartzman in third position, of course, dropping back a little bit more, coming in second. He was the early season leader as well, Palmer. Sasha celebrated, by the way, his 18th birthday in a very special way on the 28th of July. Just 18 years old. As his 18th birthday, he celebrated it behind the scenes with the Renault Formula One team for the F1 race at the Hungaroring. The top 6 drivers from this series were invited to the Hungaroring to see behind the scenes what was going on there. And that was a great way for him to celebrate his 18th birthday. Hopefully we'll be heading down into the pit lane for a quick chat with Sasha Fenestras any moment now. French driver, but born in France to Argentinian and Colombian parents, raised also in Argentina. Fenestras began karting in 2006 at the age of 7, taking part in events across France and Argentina. And it was last year that Fenestras came over to Formula Renault 2.0s with the Tech 1 racing team. He got his first pole position at the Monaco round last year, and that was following the exclusion of Lando Norris. And he subsequently took his first victory in the season in the race at Monaco last year. He followed that up with a second pole and victory in the final race at Estoril last year, and finished 5th in the overall standings last year. And he also claimed a victory and finished 5th in the Northern European Cup. So he already put in quite a good start last year, did Sasha. And now, coming on, first start of the year a little bit rocky, but then with wins in Monaco, Nürburgring, Red Bull Ring and Le Castellet, he's been showing that in this second part of the season, he's starting to totally dominate the rest of the field in most of the races, and especially in some of the faster tracks like this one. Looking back at this race, highlights of what was a very sad race for most of the drivers getting around the track behind the safety car, as the first moments of the race saw the drivers very hopeful that the fog would lift. They were being told that it might lift in the next few minutes. Sasha Fenestras leading the pack through those corners as they go around the track behind the safety car. But as they head back up towards the upper parts of the track and see that there's fog all over the track, the red flag finally came out after the halfway point through the race. So a very frustrating race for most of the drivers, as we are going to hear, no doubt, from Sasha Fenestras, who's now with our team down
Sasha,
on the pit lane.
5th win of the season, but it was a weird race. Tell us about it.
Yeah, to be fair, it wasn't a race. It was, let's say, a race on the safety car, and winning like this it never happened before. So yeah, it's quite funny. I'm quite lucky, to be fair, because I have the exhaust completely broken, on the outlap just broke. So yeah, I was lucky that it finished like this. But yeah, it's just funny, like winning a race on the safety car. So yeah, really happy. Yeah, that's the great job from the team yesterday in the qualifying, being the pole. and now, well, a bit lucky, but I had the pole, so it's like this.
Are you confident enough for this afternoon race?
Well, I hope a real race, and then we'll see. We will try to do our best. Like I said, the goal is if we can win, we win. But is to be in top 3, top 5 will be already quite good. So we will do our maximum, and we'll see after.
Thank you, Sasha.
Sasha Fenestraz. Sasha Fenestraz looking for a good position this afternoon, obviously not trying to push too hard, just trying to keep there on the track, and a very wise young man as well, just turning 18, and we'll be seeing how he goes from his pole position this afternoon at 3 o'clock. Final position, Sasha Fenestraz in first position, Robert Schwartzman in second, Yifei third, and Max Deforny in fourth position, with Max Fertrell in fifth, Gabriel Aubry sixth, Richard Verschoor seventh, Neil Verhagen eighth, Will Palmer 9th, and Thomas Randall in 10th position. Back further on the positions, we had a fastest lap from Michael Benyaer, but of course behind the safety car that doesn't mean too much. And Jarno Opmeer, of course, in 11th position, quite a good final position for him. And going through the final positions on the final classification, which will correspond no doubt to the grid. We'll see Naji Razak and Sun Yu Yang in the final positions on race 1. A reminder, race 2 for this weekend will be taking place at 3 o'clock this afternoon on the Circuit de Spa-Francorchamps. Be with us then, and hopefully we'll be getting some real racing happening this afternoon. Until then, thanks for joining us this morning. We look forward to seeing you this afternoon at 3 o'clock at Spa-Francorchamps.
Voilà, on va pouvoir y aller avec la cérémonie protocolaire de cette épreuve, disputée certes derrière en voiture de sécurité, mais il y a une réglementation qu'on va respecter bien sûr. Et on va appeler les 3 premiers du classement général sur ce podium. 3e place derrière la voiture de sécurité, mais 3e place néanmoins, c'est lors de la qualif de tous ces jours, le pilote de Joseph Kaufmann Racing, voiture numéro 1 immobilière de Chine, Yifei, que l'on va applaudir, merci pour lui. Deuxième marche du podium, eh bien il nous vient aussi celui-là, c'est un pilote d'RS, j'ai fait voiture numéro 10, monsieur Robert Schwarzmann. Et la victoire se forme de très bonne affaire au niveau du championnat, bien évidemment, puisqu'il va prendre des points très très importants qui le rapprochent d'un éventuel titre. Il nous vient de France, pilote Joseph Kaufmann Racing, monsieur Sacha Fenestraz. Et le team qui l'emporte est donc Joseph Kaufmann Racing, et c'est Lars Kaufmann qu'on va accueillir sur le podium. Et en l'honneur de la victoire de Sacha Fenestraz, eh bien, on écoute le national français, la Marseillaise. sera remis par Vanessa Refait, responsable communication de Renault Sport Racing. Trophée qui sera remis à Yefeye, notre pilote chinois qui est issu de la Formule Academy en France, la Formule 4 autrement dit. Bravo à Yefeye. C'est Madame Christine Rousseau, chargée de communication Total Motorsport, qui va remettre le trophée au pilote qui a terminé cette épreuve à la deuxième place, à savoir Robert Schwarzmann, le russe. On l'applaudit, merci Madame Rousseau. Et c'est Tariq Aïtsaïd, responsable sportif compétition client Renault Sport Racing, qui va se charger du trophée du vainqueur. C'est un vainqueur qui n'aura peut-être pas dû se battre cette fois-ci, mais enfin voilà, on applique le règlement, Sacha Fenestra, c'est donc le vainqueur de cette épreuve. On va retrouver Tariq Aïtsaïd, responsable sportif compétition client Renault Sport Racing, pour le trophée remis au team, à savoir monsieur Lars Kaufmann, du Joseph Kaufmann Racing. Et on continue avec Tariq Aïtsaïd pour le trophée au meilleur rookie. Et le meilleur rookie, eh bien, c'est notre camarade Yefeye, troisième du classement général, le meilleur rookie sur ce podium. Best rookie for Yefeye from China. Voilà, photo officielle avec les autorités. N'hésitez pas à vous approcher. Photo de la première course, bon, on espère que la deuxième sera un peu plus animée, bien évidemment. Les pilotes qui vont se mettre maintenant à l'avant de ce podium pour les traditionnelles photos sans la petite barre de protection quand même. Voilà, merci bien messieurs. Et juste après ça, eh bien, champagne. Ils se sont soignés du coin de l'œil, ça se voilà. Bon, allez, on se battra davantage tout à l'heure, bien sûr. C'est la numéro 40. Troisième marche du podium, tous ces jours en qualification bien évidemment. Deuxième marche du podium, également pilote RSGP, la numéro 40, il nous vient de France, monsieur Charles Minesi sur ce podium. Bravo Charles. Et puis finalement, il fallait signer la pole pour décocher la première victoire. Celle-ci nous fait particulièrement plaisir. Il nous vient de la région versoise. Il est belge, autrement dit, le team RSGP numéro 44, monsieur Gilles Magnus sur la plus haute marche du podium. Bravo à lui et on va se retrouver avec le représentant du team RSGP. Je pense que ce sont tous ces gaillards sur le podium, donc pas de souci. Et puis l'hymne national, eh bien, il sera belge, bien sûr, en l'honneur de la victoire de Gilles Magnus. De Gilles Magnus devant Charles Minesi et Miguel Benania. On y va avec les trophées. C'est monsieur Mick de Haas qui est le général manager Untitled Eurocup qui va remettre le trophée de la troisième place. Le pilote marocain Miguel Benania, pilote SGP. On va retrouver Jürgen Levers pour Renault Sport avec le trophée de la deuxième place pour Charles Minesi, le pilote français. On va retrouver Mick de Haas pour la coupe au vainqueur. Et c'est un pilote belge qui s'impose en Belgique après avoir décroché cette pole position finalement transformée en victoire. Gilles Magnus. Et Jürgen Levers va aller remettre la coupe du meilleur team RSGP bien évidemment, sans l'ombre d'un souci, puisqu'on retrouve 3 pilotes RSGP sur les 3 marches de ce podium. Voilà les photos officielles messieurs, s'il vous plaît.
Look into the grandstands.
Voilà, pour ces trois-là, avec Gilles Magnus en première position, Charles Milésy en deuxième position et Mickaël Benania à la troisième place, soit la Belgique, la France et le Maroc représentés sur ce podium Untitled European. Voilà, messieurs. Merci bien. Le champagne, ce sera pour la prochaine fois, bien évidemment. Bravo, messieurs. Allez, on retourne en cabine pour la suite du programme. Ça passera par la deuxième séance d'essais libres. Les 4 heures de Spa-Francorchamps, l'Européen, le Monde Series. À tout de suite.